So yeah, these are the user questionnaire results, and what we obtain is like for a low expertise user, she's a fashion student, and in terms like she doesn't have a lot of knowledge about this procurement, like the delivery of goods and services. So in a scale of 1 to 5, we asked her like about the functionality of the system. Like she gave average ratings, but in terms of operational performance, she gave a very good rating, a 4. Like when we asked her whether she understands the concept of the application, she said no, because when we asked her which part of this she didn't understand, it's because the requisition order and purchase order sections. And we asked her whether the theme is consistent throughout the application, and she has answered yes. And she hasn't answered the 7th question because she doesn't understand how the system works, because hence why she's a low expertise user. And when we asked her if she had encountered any difficulties, she has answered with yes, and she has said that it was difficult to use the system as she is not an expert in the field. And when we asked her to recommend any improvements, she has said in terms of experience using the system, it could have been better, and the interfaces were boring and didn't quite make her want to use it over a long period of time. But in terms of usability, it seemed to work pretty well. That's what she said. And medium expertise, generally they have said the same. They haven't said the same thing, but they understand the system better, and they, in terms of functionality, they give a very good rating. But in the graphical user interface and the in terms of user friendliness, they just gave a good rating, which I think is like they are just content with it. And when I asked to recommend any improvements, they said rather neutral colors were used. It would have been better to use more interactive colors to make the experience of using the application better. With the high expertise user, he gave in terms of performance and user interface design, he gave a good rating. He gave a very good rating, and he gave an excellent rating for operational performance. So yeah. But one of the sections is we asked him whether he encountered any difficulty using SIM. He said yes, and he said when approving the order and then placing it to the supplier. And then he explained it further in the recommendations or any improvements. He said that it would have been better to approve a requisition order and place it to the supplier directly. And what he means by that is he says that once we approve the order, we have to go to a different user interface to place it to the supplier, and he wants it done in one user interface. And he says it's a plain design, but it works properly, and he thinks it's good. Furthermore, I have analyzed everything they have said, and we've given like in terms of we just analyze what they have said, and we put it together, and for each section.
For analysis, what sort of modules you consider regarding that?
This is sort of a user study. That's what I have considered. And field of studies, whatever.
When you design an application, did you think about, let's say, a blind person or something, a disabled person who is going to use this one? So did you think about tab focusing? How about the tab focusing?
Tab focusing is it's done, but but we are not included in the report.
That means if it is the web application or something like that, so rather than using mobile application, you don't need tab focusing, right? But whoever the person in the procurement department who is going to use this application, they should consider about the tab focusing and stuff rather than using mouse.
Yes.
So what's the methodology? What's the model that you can consider about whether you are focusing about only the keyboard or moving towards the mouse and keyboard, something like that? There's some kind of performance issues. So what's that methodology? I think we did it in lecture, right? What's that? Have you heard about keystroke methods?
I reviewed it on the website, but I didn't go into it. We didn't consider the blind person using the application. We just used we thought how normal people would use it. But it was
show us that UI setting, and there are some other things. Do you know that Fields law?
Yeah, having bigger pockets.
Yeah. So
because you could access it.
Which launch you
yeah. So if let's say adult person, right, more than 60 or 70%, so most probably the frequency takes time, right, the person. So if you use large objects, so buttons and stuff, so that might be easy for the person to use.
Yes, certainly.
Especially now UI should be like, you have to consider about the aesthetic beauty, right? So you should use metaphors, right? For buttons, icons, you should use different icons and stuff. It should be intuitive. At a glance, that person should be able to understand
what it is.
Yeah, reading what's these buttons, names and stuff, right? So
Probably in the future of this application, maybe we could implement.
and even when you consider the buttons, you should consider what are the color combinations that you have to use, right?
I have
You have to delete and
Yes,
insert.
updates.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know
I
this.
believe I
Did you add these things for your report when you are going to evaluate this?
yeah. So I've said that.
How did you think about the extendability of this application? Let's say you are going to add new features for this system. So what sort of design changes did you consider?
If you want to add any functionality, how do you going to do this?
Well, it's
So have you think about it? Right?
yeah. We have a lot of thought was given into the delivery process, but like I said, it wasn't. It couldn't be implemented because it was very confusing in the design phase. But yeah, the delivery process and providing invoice to all the the total price and each item, how many quantities, it should be provided to the site manager once the supplier delivers it. So that's what we've thought about.
So what sort of design changes you added for the when you consider previous design into design reports, right? Provided by the previous team.
In the said that like I mentioned, the two sequence diagram that was provided by the design team, one involved handling delivery that was not implemented, and the other one was placing the purchase order. But they have given a very basic idea of the procurement process, but the details were inadequate to implement. So we designed our own sequence diagram, and it is given. It is shown like how it should be done. We've given two sequence diagrams, thus placing a requisition order and the process of approving or declining a requisition order and placing a purchase order. I have to show the ethical consideration.
Yeah. What are the ethical
So yeah, that is I took four main considerations, like informed consents. The three users that participated in the evaluation process, they were fully informed about how the evaluation is being conducted, and they were aware of the purpose of the project and how the findings will be used to improve the system. In terms of confidentiality, the information identified is only available to the evaluating team, that's us, and it will not be published in any documents. And the information worded, all the uses are done in such a way it will not reveal the identity. And even though their names are blocked out, in terms of anonymity, like I said, their names have been replaced with XYZ, and this will keep the identity anonymous. And we've assessed only relevant components that are needed for the system. So we kept it simple as possible, and any information gathered is remain focused on the project domain. And we stated that why the occupations are needed, relevant to this thing. It's there to understand the expertise, and that is the under the project domain, and how familiar they are with the user experience and usability with systems. And they have been said that the occupations will be used, and we got their consent. That's all.
What sort of security aspects did you think about when you are going to implement this application? Did you think about that when you are going to serialize whatever the username and password credentials would be there? So
We can encrypt the passwords and username.
encrypted passwords. So for the encryption purpose, what did you use?
We haven't used it, sir, but we will plan.
Yeah.
So you can use whatever the algorithms, right?
Yeah, hashing algorithm.
And you can avoid serialization. So there are some options that you can think about whether you are going to serialize passwords and stuff.
And yeah, if you were doing it with a database, then it would have been a better method of security would have been implemented. I do, yeah. As far as critical reflection goes, I just stated how how the design and the implementation, like what happened to us.
Noted.
Hello, we're Group A, and we are here to present the mobile procurement application. We were given it by the design phase to implement the system. This is the class diagram we were provided with, and the class diagram they have provided us with provides a general idea of how the procurement industry works, and they captured a basic idea, but they were lacking in many ways in the attributes that were in the fields. I mean, in the classes. The classes that were implemented were user, purchase order, supplier, construction site, item, and requisition order. We changed the name of the requisition class to requisition order because it wasn't meaningful enough.
Did you change the existing UML?
Yeah,
Let's see that one.
I've said it in the critical reflection, so okay. So this is the theme I've used in my application, and it's a login thing is to prevent unauthorized access. Mainly, I'll just go to register user interface. Mainly, there are two users: site manager and accountant. So when, for example, if you add a new site manager, for example, say this person's name with this, and you give a username, same name, and password. If you add this time, you get a success message, and so on. Like, and if you try to log in with that user, it gives a welcome message, and then it will say you're not assigned to a site, so you have to register a site with the system to continue. And then it will show the UI, but all the components are disabled, so you can't use it. So they have to who has to use it. Before we get to the main part, Ram is going to explain how to assign a site manager to the construction site.
So this is a construction site. We are creating a new site. Here we will assign the site manager username. Here we will assign the new site manager we have created. So I'm creating a new site. So here we are gonna look for new site managers. In the site managers part, we can search for site managers, or if we can simply create view all site managers. Close this, and I'm assigning Ram here, and I'm getting his phone number. I'm adding him to that site.
Once you search there, is it coming directly?
It's not currently, it's manually.
Manually. And search all sites also you can search. So here the HR building site I have added right now. And search by manager also you can search. So this is the site he was assigned to, and if we log out and when I now log in, all the functionalities will be enabled. Search orders, view orders, place orders, all the orders will be tabbed down, all the functionalities will be enabled. Thank you.
Now, after that, I'm just gonna show how the requisition order is placed by. This is a default login, and this is site manager. And for example, if he wants to place an order, a requisition order, he can select a site, an item from the list, and then he can select a quantity, say 12, and then he can add an item, and say another item, example 5. Yeah, so he can select and he can check the total price, and if he wants to delete an item from the list, he can do that as well.
And explain now, when you delete something like that, you should have the information message display.
Thing is, sir, it's not hard. It's not hardware. It's just. And furthermore, like I've used a date chooser here so that it's sort of a constraint input. Is that sort of interaction diagram? So he can select whichever date he wants. It's automatically set to the today's date. And if he wants to comment, he can put test comment, for example, and then he can place an order, and you get a success message. Then he can search orders. You can search the order by the date he has set it. So if he clicks view order, then he can select the order, and then he can select the view in detail. Here he can edit the order he has already made. So by clicking make editable, then he can add another item if he wants. You can change the date or add a current, then you can update it. It gives if you want a confirmation message, say yes, then you get a success message. After that, you can search again and you can see it's updated. Like I said, that's 2 items before, there's 3 now. Furthermore, see the status of approval is pending. Once the accountant changes the status, there's like 4 states. The states are pending, approved, decline, or placed. So whenever it's if it gets to the approved stage where it's raised to be a purchase order, then you can't edit this thing. I can show you that. I'll just go to the main part right now. B login is accountant. What happens here is the accountant searches the orders for the day, and he gets like the one I just the A login. He just set a requisition order. It shows up here, and then he can click handle order. So he can here the order is handled. You get the name of the user and then his construction site. You get the list. He can review the requisition order and then he can either approve or decline it. So if he chooses to approve it, then it says order successfully approved, and he has to place the order to the supplier. That is done in a different user interface. So I'm just gonna show that here. So it gets all the approved orders, and that the approved order is just there, and then he can click view all suppliers and he can assign it to a site, and he can email it. If you have any notes to the supplier. So yeah, once the accountant has decided to email the purchase order to the supplier, he can set a note to the suppliers like deliver carefully or whatnot. He gets success message after it's done. I'm gonna show how an order is declined now. So this was already inputted, and this is a pending order. And once he comes to the handle requisition order phase, he can select decline, and there's a message. He can click either yes or no. So if he's yes, then he has a comment to the site manager.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. So when just say here it's inadequate to place purchase order, and we click OK, and then it's successfully declined. So there are no pending orders anymore for this date. Once he logs out, and I try login again. So yeah, like I said, it says order is placed. So when it clicks viewing detail, it's not editable, but you get a message saying your order has been sent to the supplier for delivery, and it gives who it is approved by. Likewise, after that, I'm just going to talk about how an item is handled, managed.
And you can manage your item name here. And item type. And you can design beside that currency.
That item type should be a selection or something.
The thing is that there are a lot of types of items, so we have to capture those.
The item takes us together. And we can search the item. So I can give the name. I'm searching by the name. Now I can search by the item type. So these are good items that also can view all items. You can delete an item here. Let's do it.
Deleting also, you should have that confirmation message for this one.
Yes, we missed out on that one.
It's a can you please supply?
Supplier is managed.
You can add
Setting supply.
you can add a supply ID.
If you validate your fields, let's say email address, telephone numbers.
If the only validation that we've done is let us see if the fields are empty. So because they're all required, but in the type, if the type of like telephone number, email address, the type we haven't not validated it, and that applies throughout the.
You can add a supply to that. You can search and delete a supplier with view all suppliers with, and you can delete the suppliers with. So suppliers successfully deleted.
Yeah, so as far as the system goes,
That's all. How many
And,
functionalities have you implemented?
meaning sir, you mean how many classes have we done?
Yeah.
We've done the we've done the requisition order user. We didn't do the delivery part because the design that we were provided was quite confusing, and we were not able to implement that part where the invoice is generated and the item is delivered. What we have done is we covered a large portion of it: requisition order, user, purchase order, supplier, construction site, and item administrator.
What sort of modifications did you do for existing UML stuff provided by previous fields?
As far as sequence diagram goes, there are two sequence diagrams, and one of them was handling a delivery. But like I said, their design wasn't adequate enough to implement the system, and we didn't implement that part. The other one is the placing a purchase order. The design they provided captures a very basic idea, but it doesn't give a complete overview. I discuss this better in the critical reflection. And furthermore, that's the scope of the review.
So what's your evaluation? Did you show your system for different clients and
as far like is it alright to show the Java docs, sir?
Yeah, show us your Java roles and
So did you use any version controls? No?
Yeah, we. I'll,
Okay, just focus, go to Java document. What about the validations? Have you done the validations?
we did validations in terms of to check if the fields
No,
are
no, the
empty.
data that you have to retrieve from the customer. Have you done the data validations, not the component validations?
What do you mean, sir? Like
Now,
what
for
type of
example,
data?
if you are getting date of birth, so you have to check the
Yeah.
format and stuff, maybe the years.
What I've done is for like constraint, I've constrained the input to only like the ones in the date format that I need.
Yeah, I mean, not like that, only the format. Just something, for an example, can you add whatever
You can't. Yeah, we haven't done that. Like if you want
Yeah.
to, items are required before on a date. We have not.
That means, are you getting clear data from the user or something like that? I'm asking, otherwise, those data is not clear.
Yeah.
Other than that, those GUI component validation you have done the require field
Yeah,
validation,
require
other-
fields.
maybe email.
Yeah, those. This is a Java doc, and as far as like
we generated it.
yeah, we generated it and all the method. I mean, like the description of the class, like, and if you go inside the class, you get the method level comments as well or descriptions.
Okay.
And furthermore, for version control, we used GitHub, and it's available under Shavin Pod 7 and under mobile procurement application. And yeah, we've used this to to manage our project and have the same version of it across all systems.
So straight away you have used the web tool, or did you have desktop?
We had a desktop tool.
What is that tool?
It's called the GitHub.
The
domain.
GitHub is your Java projects.
Through that you have seen whatever the things.
Yeah, we synced them. After that, if I go down to the code, yeah, if you take the item class for example, as you can see,
How did you serialize your application?
Yes.
yeah,
No, you serialized and deserialized. Okay.
So you serialize entire class?
Only modules.
I mean, entire object, or maybe only selected attributes and stuff?
it's only a selected attributes. It's like no, this is how it happens. Like for example, if you take the requisition order class, and this, once we've made the construct, once the values are passed, some of the set, fields or attributes are like they are set to default values. Like approval status is set to pending, and approval and decline comments are not given. And we serialize that whole thing. But furthermore, like it's a set of requisition orders. It's not just one order in the list, so it's a lot. It's a list that we serialize and deserialize.
Did you added packages into different hierarchy, like whatever the models we use, or did you follow any MVC or any architecture?
No, sir. We are not.
The next thing, you show the code.
We've given class level comments, and for each, and then when you go down, we have given method like construct finding new item, construct for item, finding an item without type. And this is done across all the functions. Functions. If I go to the service class, if I go to item service class, like yeah, she said this class has an item to the item list. This is the class level comment. And if you go down to the method level, like this method has an item, the item list and serial level.
Actually, you should throw unique exceptions for each type, and you should catch those exceptions separately. That is, either you can customize own exceptions in a game, like
yeah.
those catch super level exceptions.
Some of these code they've actually automatically generated. Like if you just type the slash task and then these are automatic, so that was already there. As far as manual goes, yeah, as in terms of design pattern, I'm not including in the report, but we can use singleton to keep one object throughout the whole application.
In addition to that, let's say now for each item you have to calculate the cost.
Yeah, the total price.
Yeah. So what sort of design pattern you can suggest? Decorate.
Yeah. So that you can, in step by step, you can calculate it and pass it to the next one and then to
Then there are different services you are using in this application.
Yes.
Right? So in order to provide, delegate a particular service. Now let's say from the now let's say we are following MVC architecture, right? You want to delegate the service to exact service implementation stuff, right? So what sort of design pattern you can suggest for these things? Now in user, let's say user wants to place a purchase order or something, right? Then user has to delegate that request for purchase order service. So what sort of design pattern you can suggest?
I'm thinking of
Facade?
Not facade.
I'm thinking.
Facade is the one you are
User should
hiding the complexity
hide-
of existing implemented algorithms and stuff.
So user should not be able to see that.
And that means actually whoever the delegator doesn't know about the service execution. It just delegate the service. The service implemented service is the person who knows how to execute it. So what's the pattern that comes in?
My think is a factory pattern.
Not factory. It's factory is something like you are providing different services, right, based on the given filter content, right? So then let's say you are going to use a purchase order service, then it will return a purchase order service, whatever the object based on the request. The object will be provided, right? So factory you have, what are the factory patterns that you can use? Abstract factories there. Right. So for this one, that's not the exact design pattern. Have you heard about command pattern? We did that in the lecture.
Thing is that
Yeah.
we couldn't due to the tight deadlines we couldn't review the design. I mean the design pattern.
Yeah. That means now when you apply design pattern analysis, it's just refactoring your source code.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, that's the thing. Like I said, because of the design of this thing, we just got to the refactoring phase, but we couldn't do it because we
Did
had
you
to.
create any interface or something like that? Interfaces, not UI interfaces. Let's say if you are using a service interface you have to create first. Later on at design implement you can design the interface. But when you are going to implement you can design what's the...
You mean the methods that
Yeah.
we did that sort of we implement that, like for example the supply service.
Go down.
He's able to add a supply and this uses serialize and deserialize as well.
Yeah, it's something like this. Go on, this class, right? You can use add supplier.
I had another class with
Service in the sense. Now let's say add service. Those you can implement.
all the methods
service,
that-
right? Then that interface you have to implement in your class and
You can call it, yeah.
methods, yeah.
and
And whatever similar things. You don't need to write all the serialization, deserialization, every
in
place, right?
MSS.
You can put the serialization and deserialization
Into
part
one.
into abstract generic class, right? Everybody is using that. So you can pass any type of objects for serialization, right? Using generic abstract.
What about UI?
How about unit testing?
Yeah, unit testing. This is how it was done. This is our report.
Which unit test framework did you use? JUnit to test ND or
So we just gave test specification. I mean, we did acceptance testing, and this is our test plan. A certain amount of test cases were executed using predetermined data, and actual results are recorded, and then actual and expected results are compared, and the test results are determined.
Okay.
So yeah, like the main areas of the mobile procurement application, like user login, registration, site management, like construction site, and handling purchase orders were tested. So for each test specification, we given a test descriptor,
Okay.
And with that, we've done at least 4 test cases, and we given preconditions, and then the expected outcome is compared with the actual outcome. If the actual outcome is as expected, then we get a result that was we say that results were as expected. And we've done this for for user login, the site manager, the
So what are the site managers expected? Can you just explain?
Yeah, so if you want to place a requisition order, then the preconditions are a valid order should be already there with a set of items, and then a required date should be they should be specified. So the expected outcome is a success message stating that the order has been placed, and the actual outcome would be results were expected. Another sort of test case in the site manager specification is when you attempt to search for an order that has not been previously placed.
Okay.
And the precondition is there shouldn't be orders placed on that specific date. When you search for order that has not been placed on a specific date, it shows an error.
Okay.
And-
Okay. What purchase order? You added whatever the preconditions and so on. How many?
There are for each there is 4 test cases.
Four
And
test
4
cases.
test
Specification, right? How did you evaluate customers' clients?
This is how evaluation is done. We use a sort of a we use a well-known model, and then we've applied it. We've taken our own unique model, and then we've done the evaluation.
What's the model did you use?
We did the type of evaluation. We use usability testing and user experience testing. As far as the model goes, we use user studies and the field of study. We combine those 2 approaches and introduce our own unique approach, and then evaluated the system. So what we've done is we use a non-automated method of usability testing a set of users varying levels of expertise in the domain of the project. So that means how good they are, how much knowledgeable they are in the industry of the procurement industry, that's obtaining goods and services.
Who were experts in your selection?
We use 3 sets of users, and varying from 3 ranges. That means a low expertise user, a medium expertise user, and a high expertise user. And our evaluation plan is to capture the data in forms of questionnaires, and then analyze the data that they have given and critique it. That means critique means we suggest solutions or improvements to mitigate the problems. And I'm just going to go to the ethical considerations because they come before the.
Go up. Yeah. No. Okay. Go down. Slowly.
So yeah, this is.
Capture user evaluation questionnaire sample. Can you explain?
Yeah. So this is the questionnaire sample that was given to all 3 users, and their name and occupation and gender are given. The name. This is only. As far as ethical considerations go, the name hasn't been provided. The name is only given to us because we are like the program coordinators, and but in the results of the results that we have showed when we are analyzing the evaluation, we have wiped out the names and replaced them with X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
So yeah, the occupation is documented because it's required to know how expertise they are in the area of the project. So yeah, so in we given in a scale of 1 to 5, we ask them to answer these questions. 5 being an excellent rating and 1 being very poor. So we talk about how do you rate the functionality of the system in terms of performance, how do you rate the graphical user interface, how do you rate the system in terms of user friendliness, and then operational performance. And then we asked whether they understand the concept of the application, and if no, they should specify which part they do not understand. And then we asked if the theme is consistent throughout the application, and then if not, we ask which parts. And we asked generally if we satisfy the requirement of capturing requisition orders and raising purchase order to supplier, and we answer with yes or no, and then they can ask why they think so. Another thing we ask is if they are encounter any difficulties using the system. and we asked them straight if it's yes. And then lastly, we asked them if they could recommend any improvements to the system in terms of usability and user experience.
So, what sort of answers? How many those users do some kind of suggestions? So,
Yes, sir. This is how we've analyzed it. Like I explained, we have three main users. We have given a brief description of these users and how they are useful to evaluating the system. So yeah, first user, the low expertise user is in the early 20s and then late 40s, and we've stated like the occupation to know how expert they are in using the system.
Yeah.
So like if you take the medium expertise user, when he was younger he had experience delivering goods such as hair products to salons as part-time job. So, and even the high expertise user, we've taken someone from the construction industry in Sri Lanka, and we asked him to use the system and asked him what he felt about it. And how the next phase was we analyze the system. I have the questionnaire results, and would you like to see it?
Yeah. So that's what they provided by once they use this system. Did you identify any interaction design patterns related to what to satisfy these applications?
We used a constraint input. That's a sort of pattern. Like I said, like in the date, we constrained it to only to a specific date format, and furthermore, we use the automatic input method where we get the number to the construction site automatically from using the username of the site manager. This is questionnaire results.
What sort of evaluation methods